We need to learn how to create and delete users. We might have multiple users that need to access our system. This is a common administrative task to add a user. You could have multiple users that would SSH in to your server, for example, and you need to know how to create them. So the basic command here is add user, and that will launch a wizard to add a new user, and it will create files for the user. It can also be used to add a user to a group. So here I am SSH'd in to my machine as a normal user, and to do any of the administrative add user or delete user commands, you have to use sudo. So we're going to sudo add user Tom. So that's the user I want to add, and it's going to add a bunch of stuff, and we're going to also set a password for that user this time. It'll be important to do the reading to make sure you understand that it does create some files for him. It creates his home directory. It creates a user ID and a group ID and puts him in that group. So you can fill out that information. It's completely optional, and I usually don't. So I'm going to hit yes. If I wanted to add Sally, I could just do that again and give her a password and enter down through that, yes. So that's an easy way to add a user. And you could also add them to a group. So, and we'll do that in a video where I talk about adding groups. We first need to add a group. So coming back here to view users, you can look in your etc password file. You might also use the who command. It's kind of related to viewing users, tells you who is logged in. Let's come back here and first look at the who command. Okay, that just shows I'm logged in. The root user is logged in. If you're doing it on ssh.cs.dixie.edu, you should see a lot more users logged in, depending on what time of day you're doing this. Anyway, if we cat out etc password, you can see now that Tom and Sally have been added, and there's their user ID and group ID. There's this signifies their home directory where that's at. This signifies their default shell. If you had put any information in where it asked for office and full name and that sort of thing, you would see that here. To delete a user, you use the del user command. And the only special note there is you must add a separate option to delete that user's home directory. So now I'm done. So I'm going to say del user Sally. And remember I have to do a sudo because that is an administrative function. If we look at etc password, you can see that she no longer exists. But if we look at the home directory, her home directory still exists because you do have to pass in a special option to do that. So let's look at the man page. Man del user. It looks like we can pass in -- remove home. So sudo del user Tom, and we're going to pass in that remove home. We're going to do a cat etc password. We are also going to do a ls/home. You can see that Tom's home directory is gone. And that's all for this video.